เราเดินทางมาถึงในเมืองหลวงของหมู่เกาะแฟโรแล้วเรากำลังจะไปกินข้าวกัน
เราใส่น้อยมาก
ขับรถมาจอดริมถนนเลยแล้วก็อยู่ในโรงแรมนี้
โรงแรม62อะนะ
ไม่ใช่ชื่อฟาโรอะไรสักอย่าง แต่เนี่ยแหละคือร้านอาหารเนี่ย
You can just ring the bell and they will come get you.
นี่ป้ายมิชลิน
I'm going to give you a little introduction when you're seated. We're going to be starting off in the ocean. We have today some scallops. We have sea snails, horse mussels, langoustines, codfish, blue mussel, sea urchin, lipid. Everything locally sourced, everything as fresh as possible, and as well, we like to work as responsibly as possible. So most of the things are hand dived. Langoustines are caught in traps, and all the fish that we use in the restaurant is line caught fish.
ยังขยับอยู่
Only thing that's not around here is the caviar, which is from a Danish company called Belgium Farm. They work very organically and sustainably. Yes. No additives to the caviar, so only salt and caviar. After this part of the menu, we move on to some traditional service. You can see hanging on the wall over here, we have some fermented fish. Also going to be serving some seabird to finish you off with some desserts. Wine pairing. We have a non-alcoholic pairing, both 6 different glasses. And then we have an add-on of a crude champagne for our langoustine if you wish, and then we also have a wine list. The waiters will talk to you more.
Well, welcome. First time on the Paris? Yes. Yes. You're not blown away. The wind has been
บรร
slow.
ยากาศน่ารัก
อ้าวเขาไม่มีบอกว่าแวรี่เป็นอะไรอ่ะ
ได้เดินดูดิตรงนั้นอ่ะ
นับช้อนคือวันนี้เราจะได้กินช้อนกี่อัน
ยังเวลานับเนี่ยต้องนับเหมือนนับเงิน1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9
วันนี้เราจะได้กิน9 จาน
Han Fish, this is a very small grower champagne winery, 12 hectares from 7 different vineyards, working only in the Côte de Blanc, so 100% Chardonnay of all grapes they're working with. This one here is from the Grand Cru village of Avis, so it's one of the better vineyards, villages in the Côte de Blanc area. So all the grapes come from this. This is based on 2020 and 2021 in the vintages. 3 grams of residential sugar, so it's in the extra brut department, so it's very dry on the palate. Vineyard of the Grand Charon. This is in what we call a village wine, but we are going a little deeper because we are working at a single vineyard wine here. This single vineyard is pretty much at the border for the premier vineyards. So we are at a very, very high quality of single vineyard wine in the village level. And the winery here of Philippe Foroe is a ecological certified winery, working very, very, very biodynamically in the vineyards. So they also is one of the few French wineries that actually has the stamp of this here. You don't find that a lot, but this one has, because it's something they really fight for and really go for. But doesn't have to go on the quality of the grapes, because they work with this one here, 45 to 50 years old vines. So it's also getting a little older, giving us a little bit more concentration on our fruits. And then it's oak matured in around 35% new oak for 20 months before it hits the market. So we really give this classical style of oak matured myself.
So here we have the first serving for tonight, and in the middle of the table we have the queen scallop, which we only have opened and then rinsed. And then the mussel is still attached to the shell, so you guys can use your knife size to cut it loose and put it in the bowl. In the bowl we have some buttermilk that has been infused with some crumbled seaweed. Then we have the platinum caviar, and then on top a drizzle of Jerusalem artichoke oil. For that, you can just use your caviar spoon on the side. Please enjoy.
It's something the whole world has to
เป็นชิ้นเล็กๆอย่างนี้นะรสชาติระเบิดในปากมากชิ้นเล็กๆแต่แน่นระเบิดในปากเนื้อมันดีมากเลยอ่ะเนื้อเด้งมากแล้วหอมแบบแน่นๆแบบเหมือนเอาไปย่างเนยแต่ไม่ได้ย่างเนยอ่ะ
This is our next little bite. We have a seaweed tartlet that we filled with a codfish tartare and some daikon radish. Then we have some meat or sea urchin, and it's topped with foraged herbs and plants from Foroe's nature, and a little bit of parsley. And on the top there, we also have a little bit of Icelandic wasabi, which is a milder version of wasabi. Icelandic from Iceland. And for this dish, we recommend that you take it all in one bite if you're able, because there's so many different layers. So to get a full experience, one bite. Enjoy.
ต้องชนกันไหม
มีทาร์ตเล็ตคอตแล้วก็อูนินะคะ แล้วก็มีวาซาบิท็อปอยู่ข้างบนนะคะ
which means we are having a lighter
รสชาติมันคอมเพล็กซ์มันมีหลายๆอย่างซ้อนกันอยู่ในปากตัวเอง
มีอะไรบ้าง
มีปลาคอตมีอูนิแล้วก็มีผัก
Up next, we are going to South Tyrol in Italy. So this is the Alps. This is the colder department of the Italian country. What we're working with here is Alois Lageda. This is a wine family from 1820. And this is the wine called PAZ, which is made on the grape of Pinot Grigio. But it's not made in the Italian classical style of Pinot Grigio. It is made in the classical style of Alto Adige, which is the wine area we are working in here. That means we are harvesting the grapes and then we are making a skin maturation first. So pressing the grapes, then we have to juice together with the skin for around 15 to 20 hours. That gives a little bit more tannic, green, floral side of the wine. Pressing down and then we ferment the wine and then it's lees matured on the fine lees for 9 months in old wooden vats and in steel tank, where we are sometimes going in and stirring a little bit in this lees. That gives the wine a little bit more body, a little bit more, you can say, fat content on the palate, because the Pinot Grigio can be, from the Italian side, can be very, very high acidity and very clean. This one has a lot more working on the palate. Then it's low sulfuric wine. It's one of the first 100% ecological and biodynamically certified wineries of Italian. So this is not nature wine, but we are definitely moving in that direction.
Right. Now we're gonna have the sea snail.
Sea snail.
So to prep it, we start by giving it a salt massage to get rid of any slime, and then it's sous vide for 5 to 6 hours. After that, it's cut really, really paper thin, and we serve it with some poached skate, some pickled rutabaga that's been pickled with elderflower. Then we have fermented gooseberry juice, some lemon verbena oil, and various herbs from the Foroe's nature. So we're playing with a lot of ocean taste and with the citrus and pickleness of flowers and vegetables. Alright guys, this is our first fossil. It's lightly steamed, we serve it cold. In the bottom you'll find fermented sweet potato jelly that we let ferment for 3 to 6 months. It develops a much deeper flavor, almost tomato-like. The foam is a carrot juice foam that we let seep with some lemon thyme, so it gets a citrus flavor, and it's topped with some roe. So what you want to go to do is take the spoon and dig right into the jelly. Enjoy it.
เผ็ดแบบเพิ่มฉุนๆนิดนึง
แฮร์รี่ดีมากเข้ากับไวน์แบบอันเนี้ยคือมันไวน์
โดกิโยนัว
มันเนียบแบบกินแล้วแบบมัน
กิโดกิโยแบบที่แบบ
แบบที่ท
full body
It's 2 different bottles. This one, the Von Winning Rheinhübel Riesling, This is the one that is going to resemble the Burgundy a lot on the nose. So this one here is 12.5% Rieslings from a Grand Cru certified vineyard called the Greinhübel. It is 18 months in a 500-liter barrels. It's spontaneous fermented in the barrels, and then it's least matured in the same barrels. So it's made exactly like the Maso you have actually, just 2 less months in the barrels. They are medium toasting it, just like the Maso here, and then it's low gravity bottled, so it's not filtered and not cleared. So it's gonna have a lot of the smell of this oak. But the biggest difference from that glass to that glass is we don't malolactic ferment the Riesling. So it's gonna have the very fresh acidity instead of the more milky acidity, the lactic acidity. That is the biggest differentiate here. It's the vintage of 23 for you. The other side, the Crook. And this is the newest release of the Grand Cuvée. It's called 173. It hit the market here in 2025, July month. So it's very new for the market. It's based on the vintage of 2017, 69%, sorry. And the last 31% of the bottle here comes from the Reserve Winery. So this is where they go in and use what they are very, very known for, blending to perfection. So this is 150 different wines from 13 different vintages, going all the way back to 2001 as the oldest wine in the bottle here. Least matured for 7 years, corked, and then around 1.5 to 2 years more in the bottle before it hits the market. It is 44% Pinot Noir, 34% Chardonnay, and then 22% of the Pinot Meunier.
On the hot dishes with some langoustine. It's a pan-fried langoustine. We've fried it in some butter, and then what we've done is we've actually breaded it in its own shell. So we've taken the shells, we've dried them, and then we have glazed it in a bisque that we've boiled all the way down to a glaze that gets almost like a smoky barbecue flavor. And on top, you'll be getting some sauce from browned butter and the celeriac juice, and then the coral, all the things that are inside the head of the langoustine.
จานนี้ไม่ต้องบอกก็รู้ว่าอร่อย เพราะว่าแพริ่งกับครูกหรือลิสลิงแล้วก็แบบชิมองุ่นแต่ก็อร่อยมาก นี่เขาเป็นแรงกูสตินล็อบสเตอร์ซอสมันกุ้งนี่คือแบบเจอบ่อยแต่แบบอันนี้มันมีความอมเปรี้ยวตัดกับแบบลิสลิงเลยหวานเปรี้ยวแล้วดูทีว่าแบบเขาแบบจ่ายเงินเพิ่มเพื่อแชมเปญแค่นี้พอแล้วอันนี้เปลือกตัก
So now we are coming to the Foroe cod. This one we have lightly steamed and salted, and then on top we have a glaze made out of bladderwrack. Bladderwrack is a kind of seaweed. So we have roasted the seaweed and watered it down to reduce it into a glaze, so it gives off taste of the licorice. And then on the side we have a puree that's made out of some caramelized and fermented cabbage. And then around it we have a sauce made out of some burnt cabbage. And I would recommend you to use as well.
อร่อยมากคุณพูดแคปเป้คือดึงกลิ่นทุกอย่างอะขึ้นมาชัดมากอยู่ในปากคือแคปเป้กลิ่นชัดมากแต่ว่ายังได้กลิ่นปลาคอดอยู่
Equipol Navasos Andalusian, Spain, is a white wine but made as a sherry in the region of sherry. So this is 1 year oak matured with the floor, which is a fungi in sherry. And then after this year, we're chopping it up from 12 to 15% with alcohol. And then we are ending it with 3 years of oak maturing afterwards.
Now we are coming to some more traditional flavors. This is called rastefiske gatnantolk, and in English it's called fermented fish and lamb tallow fat. So this is a traditional French dish which is called a pomme an, and that's where we slice potatoes very thinly and then lay them up top of each other. And in between each layer we usually use butter, but here we have used lamb tallow fat. And then around it we have a sauce that is cow cheese sauce from Trøndanes. And then we have the fermented fish. That is the ocean perch that you can see on the wall over there. And these fishes, they hang off of boats usually. for around 2 weeks to a wind ferment. That's where the strong smell and taste comes from. For this one, you use just a knife and a fork. Please try.
อุ๊ย
อันเลยน่ารัก
ข้างในเป็นแรมนะคะเธอ มันมีคาวสัตว์จานเนี้ยพี่เนี่ยแก้วนี้เลย ไม่ใช่อันนี้เลย
This is a lamb fat.
No, this is the fermented fish, like over there on
This
the
is
wall.
fish.
No, that is a lamb tallow fat.
Ah, this is lamb fat.
Yes. Yes, and this is a traditional
Ah,
dish.
that one.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a traditional French dish, which is potatoes sliced very thinly on top of each other.
อร่อยปะดี
ต้องกินกับแก้วนี้เท่านั้นเจมโก
อร่อยมากเลยอ่ะโดยเฉพาะแบบกินกับไวน์แพรลิ่งเวลากินไวน์รสชาตินี้ที่ไหนนะ อาหารจะแบบมีความแบบประหลาดแต่ก็อร่อย
Up next, Rioja, Bodega Zacutan. This is on the region of called Rioja Alta. It's on the region in the northwest of the area. This one is the Gran Reserva, which is a storing term they use in Rioja for a certain amount in barrels and certain amount of years in bottles. This one here has around 3 years of barrel maturing and 4 years of bottle maturing. So 7 years before it hits the market. It is Tempranillo-based wine, and it is only made in the very best vintages. This is 2015. Last vintage was 2004. So 11 years between production of the Gran Reserva from the winery, because they only go for the very best years. This one here is 14% alcohol, but we're doing a little trickery for the beginning, because the red wine in the glass here is fridge temperature, so it's 5-6 degrees cold, because I want to remove that part and I want to remove that part for the first course of meat from the chef's side. I need more light red wine, more fruit and more acidity. And when I remove the alcohol of the palate because I cool it down, then I get much more acidity and much more fruit forward wine. Then for the next serving, I come with the same label but tempered instead. So you get the same red wine in two very different temperatures, which is going to be two very different ways the red wine is going to work.
This is our sea fulmar. So fulmar is a type of bird that lives out to the sea. It lives in the mountains and also in the sea. So traditionally they're eaten while they're young. This one is old up. What we've done is we've marinated it in shiokoji, which is a mix of koji, the fungus, and salt water. This tenderizes the meat. Then it's grilled and buttered with a hay smoked butter. And on top there you've got a sauce made from blue mussels and blackened garlic and some beetroot. So I hope you enjoy this one.
Oh, what's the name of the seabird?
Fulmar. F-U-L-M-A.
กินตัวนี้เอาควรกินให้ดูอีกเลยกินตัวนี้ เนื้อมันหนึบ เนื้อมันหวานแล้วมันก็หนึบ
Our last savory serving. It is the fermented and wind-dried leg of lamb. It's been hanging for about 6 months out in the open air here, so no salt, no fat, no smoking, so it's completely spontaneous fermentation. We eat it usually with rye bread and butter. So here we have a bread that we make. It's a combination between a rye bread and a butter. So we have egg, and we have butter, rye bread and brioche, sorry. And then we have a mushroom spread. Here we have the fermented, so it's Ras chut. So it's the same process as this one, but just not dried. So it's only been hanging for about 2 months. So we cook it and we glaze it in a lamb glaze. Serve it together with a puree made from root vegetables. On top you have some pickled and dried things. So there's some pickled lingonberry, we have some dried celery, dried mushrooms, dried lichen. And when you eat it, you decide for yourself. You can try this one on its own. You can eat it with the mushroom spread on the bread, but you can also save a little bit of the bread to dip in here.
ขนมปังดูดีมาก
นี่เป็นเนื้อแกะของกูบอกไปที่แบบเต็มเกาะเลยนะ
The sweet wine.
มันจะขึ้นฟีดเลยนะ
We are back in Germany.
ขึ้นฟีดทันทีเลย
We are in the region of Mosel. And in the middle of Mosel, there's a small wine village called Erden. Here we find Dr. Hermann with the 2006.
So here we have the first dessert for tonight. And at the bottom of the bowl we have some chervil stems, which can give off a sweet licorice flavor. And then we have a gel that's made out of hip rose. Hip rose are these big pink flowers that are all around here in Foroe. And then we have the cream, that is a burnt cream, which has been infused with some charcoal. And then on top we have some coffee oil, and then the rhubarb compote. So this is a dish where we have some sweetness, but as well as some sourness from the rhubarb.
มันมีกลิ่นดอกไม้อร่อย อันข้างบนอ่ะอร่อย แต่ยังต้องตักให้ครบนะ
This is a Grand Cru classified Pinot Grigio from Germany, called Grauburgunder instead. 20 months in oak. This is from the region of Baden. So this is just on the other side of the border from Alsace. So this is not a cool climate wine. This is a quite warm area in Germany.
Here we have the second dessert, and this is a bladderwrack flan. A flan is usually a traditional Spanish dessert. They use eggs, sugar, and vanilla. But here we have made a twist and used some cream and the bladderwrack glaze. Maybe you remember the bladderwrack glaze from the cods on top of the cods. And then we have a crust that's made out of some caramelized sugar. On top of that, we have some fermented blackcurrant berries, and then an oil that is made out of the leaves of the fermented blackcurrant berries. So we can say that this is a Faroese creme brulee. Please enjoy.
These are our petit four. So on the stone, you have some lip pits. Lip pits are a type of mollusk that live by the shore and grow on stones in the Faroe Islands. But not to worry, there is no shellfish inside. We filled it with a carrot reduction, some cream and some specks of seaweed. Then for the chocolates, we have a dark chocolate. It's a filled chocolate with some caramel and some seaweed. So we get the sweetness and the saltiness together with the bitterness of the chocolate. Then we have the light chocolate, which is a chocolate truffle with some Faroese whiskey from Faroe Islands distillery. And then in the shells there, you have a small candy that's made with some blue mussel juice and a bladderwrack syrup.